What up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today on Fitness Tech Reviews, we're going over the Garmin Vivosmart 4. So this did come out in 2018, but at a price at around $130, currently on sale for $90. This is a very good tracker, but let's go ahead and get right into it. First thing first, let's go ahead and get into those specs. It is coming in around $130. Again, it can go on sale for about $90. This does have a 0.26 by 0.7 inch OLED display. It is monochrome, so it isn't very vibrant, but it is bright enough to see in the sun, and it does have a light sensor, and it can go auto detect or it can go up to a brightness of about 7. It is a touchscreen display as well with a capacitive home button at the bottom. It does have 5 atmospheres of water resistance, so you can go swimming with this, and it does have some basic swim tracking as well. I couldn't find the milliamp hour battery on this, but it is coming around 7 days if you don't have everything enabled, but you want to make sure you have your pulse ox and your sleep tracking enabled, and it will come in at around 5 days of battery life, and does have a little USB charger as well that will clip onto the back of this guy, and takes about 2 to 3 hours to fully charge, and it's a little finicky to get it in the right spot, but you know, you get a little bit used to it the more you use it. With its sensors, it does have a heart rate monitor. It uses those light sensors to check out your SpO2 levels, to check out the blood oxygen levels in your blood. It also has an altimeter, an accelerometer, and it also has an ambient light sensor, so it will auto detect when this needs to go brighter and it needs to go darker. It does come in 2 different silicone bands. It comes in a small, medium, also comes in a large. I have some smaller wrists in general, so the small medium worked great, but if you do have some bigger wrists, large is what you'd probably go after. It does have Bluetooth. I couldn't figure out which Bluetooth version that was, and it does have a vibration motor built in for all those notifications as well, and when you hit that home button. It does work on Android and iOS. I believe it's Android 7.0 or better. And iOS 6 or better, but don't quote me on that. I really couldn't find the specifics on that. All right, let's go ahead and get into the app. It does use the Garmin Connect app, so it's all built right in here with everything, your heart rate, your steps. I have done this before, but it has a boatload of things in. Challenges at the bottoms, your calendar if you want to check out when you did your workout, stuff like that, a news feed with things like that, and your notifications. So you have pretty much everything built in, and with the drop screen on the left, your activity, health status, all that, what you're looking for, where your sleep was, and you can check out the different gear, different training modes, different workouts, training plans as well, and a lot of it will work with this band. And I mean, you have groups in here, connections, you can live track your runs and stuff like that, so there's a lot of things built into the actual app that work out great. And that's why I love Garmin in general. They have so many things built in. There is a secondary Garmin app if you do have bigger bands that do go into like better screens and stuff like this, but this is a more basic band. So this is pretty much where you're gonna be living, having all your activities built right in, your health status, your performance stats. This does actually do VO2 max as well, so that's great. Let's go ahead and get into its fitness tracking. Let's go ahead and get into my walk. I don't know exactly why I put it into a walk. I might have accidentally put it into there, but it goes right in there. When you want to click on it, click on eSham walking, and it gives you a little graph, a little bit of a Google Maps thing of how your pace went. It did lose me over here near the swing set parade. I didn't actually move over to the other side of the road, but that's just basically using the GPS built into your phone. But it worked fairly well, especially at this price. And since it did do that, it overshot my mile by just a little bit, so not the most accurate in the world. And you can go into a bunch of different like metrics, where your speed was and stuff like that, where your laps were, and also comes into pace and heart rate monitoring. With its heart rate monitoring, I'm also going to be putting the Whoop right over here as well. It did great. With the running, it did very good. It was a little bit lower here and there, and it didn't really check out the ups and downs as great as the Whoop did, but for its price, it did awesome. It could check out your elevations, where your heart rate zones, stuff like that. But when we're actually talking about other workouts, I go into my strength training right here. I did need to get a little bit more in. I accidentally put sit-ups in, but you do need to go into the settings to make sure you're doing the right thing. But when we go into my heart rate, it was a little bit lower. Again, my Whoop right over here, it was a little bit lower overall and in general. I mean, that's pretty common for things around the wrist. When you have a lot of wrist flexion in your workout, it does tend to lose your heart rate. And also, since this was high intensity back and forth, it was a little slow to catch up to where my heart rate was. So I was doing like intervals, I was doing a burst, and then I got to rest a little bit, and I looked down, I was like, wow, my heart rate wasn't that low, and then all of a sudden I just see it start jacking up. So we'll be a little bit behind, but overall it did a fairly good job, and especially at this price point, you're really not going to see much better. All right, now let's go ahead and get into a sleep tracking. Again, you will need to go into the settings to put on all of your sleep tracking so it can do the right thing. But when you go into your sleep data, it has it all built in. So when you click on your specific days, I can go to like Friday. I have my Whoop over here as well. I just had a baby recently, and my Whoop is a little confused about where my wake up is and where my REM sleep is. But this did an amazing job as far as my total sleep in general. I do believe I was awake a little bit more here and there, but it did an awesome job. I can go back to my other things like on Thursday where I did get a little less sleep. Again, I was awake more than those 7 minutes. And even when I go back even farther, go back to Wednesday, 8 minutes. Again, I was a little bit awake more than that, but in general, this is a great tracker to help you be able to track your sleep, especially, again, for the price point. This is about $130, can go on sale for about $90, so this will be a great tracker for its price. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the UI of this guy. As you can tell, just with the way this is recording, you won't actually see what's going on like it does on screen, but that's all I could do with my recording device. So when you do swipe down, this is your battery. It tells you how much you have in the tank. So basically how well you have recovered, and you go up from there. This is where your battery is as well, how much you have left. You have your heart rate right here. You have your notifications as well, and even if you want to, you can have your weather, and you can actually change all that. You have a little bit of a timer where your activity was, and your altimeter, and how many steps you did. When you hit the home button, you can hit the center button. This is where your workouts are, and you can check out the walking, the running, different workouts, stuff like that. It all goes right here, and you do have to click on it. If you want to use your phone's GPS, it'll make sure to do that. You can click no or anything like that. With the home button, does bring you back one. You can go down right here. You can get where your VO2 max, your blood oxygen saturation, all built in right there. When you go down even more, you have your timers. You can see where your phone is, and you can go into settings as well. You can go into like night mode, change the brightness. You can go into the vibration, see how intense that is. You can check your different heart rates, and you can even change to abnormal heart rates. So those of you who do need to check when you do need heart rate alerts, you can actually do this on this band, and the information about software updates and all that's built right in. So continuing down that line, that's pretty much everything built right into the band. There is no swipe left or swipe right. There just basically is swipe up and down and the home button bringing you home. And on the back, this is where you have all of your sensors. And right here, this is where you put in your clip in right on top. Again, it takes a little bit to get used to that clip in, and you will get a notification on the screen when it is plugged in. But that's pretty much the UI of this guy. All right, so what are my recommendations? This for $130 is a great tracker. There are some other trackers out there like the Fitbit Charge 3, or even if you want to improve to the Fitbit Charge 4, it will have a bigger screen, but it will be monochrome like this, but it does have a GPS built in. So if you're looking for some better tracking and you can look down, see your pace like that, I would recommend the Charge 4. But when you're talking about $130, this guy is great for sleep tracking, it's great for fitness tracking, and it's smaller scale, so you can use a bigger watch and have this as well, and it really won't be that cumbersome. But as far as the negatives are concerned, if you are going on runs, it's hard to check down to see where your pace was, and if you're doing high intensity interval training, it does take a little bit for it to catch up with your heart rate. So if you are looking to be a little bit more, accurate on that heart rate, I probably push you more towards like the Charge 4 and stuff like that. But in general, this is a great band, and I would recommend it to anybody that's a little bit newer and stuff like that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please smash that like button if you did, and if you really enjoyed it, please subscribe to the channel. I got tech reviews each and every week, and of course, if you use the links down below, they shoot you to Amazon, and a little bit of that will help me to grow my channel. But as always, stay happy, stay healthy, and above all, stay positive. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.